think there's a lot of confusion out there as far as people saying it's too difficult to make money online. It's too difficult to start an online business. Everything you have is there, and you can set up in a day, in a weekend, in a week. It just comes down to how quickly you want to act on it and how much time you want to invest in it.
I'm Sean Hessinger, and this is Small Biz in 15, the show where we bring you small business news and tips to make your small business better. Today, Adam Reed, founder and CEO of Crown & Paw, talks about selling crafts online and how you can turn this side hustle into a successful business of your own. Adam, before we start the conversation on crafts, let's talk a little bit about who you are and what you do exactly, your company, and how this all fits into this discussion.
Yeah, sure. So I've been involved in e-commerce since before I can remember. I was one of those kids in school always selling something online from probably the age 15, 16, 28 now, so I'm feeling old. And I started this pet portrait business, Crown & Paw. I started it in 2019. And what we do is essentially we receive photos from our customers of their pets. It doesn't have to be a dog or a cat. It can be anything. We've done gorillas, frogs, snails, you name it. And we turn it into a very realistic, very highly detailed portrait in a range of different styles or costumes. We became very well known in the US for this Renaissance style portrait where your pet's face was superimposed into a king or a queen sort of thing. And everything is done by humans somewhere in the world. It's not AI. It's not, clicking a filter on Photoshop. People are working pretty much all day, every day, with pens and tablets designing these portraits. So that's what we do. I mean, crafts for me, it covers the idea of you having a skill or a passion and you being able to apply that in a way that allows you to create something tangible, a physical product for you to then ideally sell online. So for us, it's the design element, of course. Our artists are incredibly talented. And so that ties in my opinion,
right,
with the craft side of things. Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. Well, speaking of craft, how do you go about selling a craft online? Not necessarily a drawing of a pet, but whatever skill you happen to have. Where do you start? Can you give us an overview?
Yeah, sure. Taking it back, I'm trying to think, when we started, but I think the first thing you need to look at is your skill set and what you enjoy doing. Maybe you have a hobby, you find yourself knitting or crocheting or something on the weekend, and you think, oh, you know what? I'm actually quite good at this, and I'd like to see if people would be interested in what I can make. The second thing is just doing some research and understanding where the best place would be for you to set up a shop or a business or a social media page, because obviously, depending on what you're selling, your audience are going to be looking for it in a certain place, whether that's on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Etsy, Amazon, or a lot of other marketplaces that are out there. Another thing is just another option for those people that perhaps want to start more of a local craft business is setting up just a Facebook page or an Instagram profile in your local area and just interacting with people that you know as friends, and then it can hopefully span out from there. It's something that friends and family of mine have done quite successfully in the past, but you don't have to think of setting up, hey, I want to start a craft business. You don't have to be daunted by it. It doesn't have to be a big investment of time or money. There are certainly free ways to start.
If we were looking broadly, what are some of the biggest crafts that people sell online, and then maybe what do you think are maybe crafts that people don't think of as things they could sell online?
Yeah, I think we've covered them already. What I will say is if you have a passion and it's very niche and you think, well, no one's ever going to be interested in this, trust me, we sell the most niche, bizarre artwork you've ever seen, and there's a big market for it. You just have to find your audience, and that will take time, but just trust me, because we sell the most bizarre things in the world. But yeah, what crafts are out there? The list is endless. I think, as I said, we've covered a lot of it. You've got graphic-based things that we don't really need to list because it's quite obvious. But then you have, embroidery, knitwear, woodwork, glassware. It doesn't have to be small either. And I say that because I have a giant desk here that I got off Etsy. It was quite expensive, but someone's made this from hand. And I've got a chest of drawers under the desk, which again
Wow.
is not a small thing, but I didn't get it from Amazon or anything like that. I got it off Etsy because I like the artisan sort of feel, like the craftsmanship that goes into things, and it is probably the best quality desk I've ever had. So whether you're watching this and you make very small products, or you're someone who's in their garage and they have a workshop and they're building big woodwork type products, there's a market for everything.
Do you think there are crafts that sort of sell better online than others? Things that are easier to sell? I mean, are there crafts that kind of edge the other ones out? You see all the time?
Again, I'm probably talking from experience, but I have in the past sold. So I have a background in design and advertising to an extent. So most of the things that I've sold online have been design-led, design-based. And what I have found is it's a lot easier to sell something that is personalized to the end consumer. So let's say you knit scarves, for example, right? You knit scarves, you've got a great range of scarves, they look lovely, and you want to sell them online. Compare you to the other person who has the same range of scarves, but they're offering, I'm gonna sew or knit your initials into this scarf and personalize it for you. Which one are you going to pick? You're going to pick the personalized one. And a product, if you want to personalize it, it doesn't have to be made from scratch, specific for that person. Like I said, you can just add a monogram, add their name, something small. It doesn't have to be very complex for you to do, but just that small additional personalized element makes a world of difference. And I also would add that buying crafts, when it's personalized, tends to be very seasonal. So you might find that you're getting a bit tired, you're not getting the traction you expected, and you're ready to give up. I would say keep going to Christmas, because Christmas is crazy. And when people are looking for gifts, they're more inclined to buy something that someone has made, someone has put time and attention into, because they know that it's going to be quality. And then if there's a personalized element to it as well, it makes it even more special for the gift recipient.
You know, we talked about making a little extra cash. We used that phrase a couple of times. Can you actually make money, real money, decent money, selling crafts online?
Yes, is the short answer. I've been doing this full time now for 4 years. I have a friend who used to sell weird, like, custom dyed socks that they would dye themselves in their kitchen. That he quit his job. His now fiance quit her job. They did that together full time. I know plenty of people that make a full time income on Etsy. I know people that make a full time income off Amazon merch, Zazzle, Teespring, things like that. I think there's a lot of confusion out there as far as people saying it's too difficult to make money online. It's too difficult to start an online business. Everything you have is there, and you can set up in a day, in a weekend, in a week. It just comes down to how quickly you want to act on it and how much time you want to invest in it. But yeah, it is. It's the short story is you can absolutely make a decent income selling crafts online.
Can you think of anything we've missed here in the craft space? Anything that we should talk about that we haven't?
One thing I would mention, it's not going to be relevant to everybody watching, but if you're selling something that, like me, is quite seasonal, just be very aware of your own time availability going towards Christmas, because everybody's busy that time of year. You've got family and friends to see. But if you're running a business, you have a responsibility to serve your customers well within the timeframes you promised to them. We had an issue in 2019 where we were not prepared at all for how busy we were going to be and how popular it was going to be, which resulted in people getting Christmas presents late. We had a lot of emails from angry customers. We had really bad reviews, and you just need to be self-aware enough to understand that, okay, it takes me X number of hours to make this product. I'm probably going to be able to invest 20 hours this week, next week, the week after, so I can probably accept this number of orders. And set that, and don't go past that. Don't be greedy. I know that it can be very easy when you see sales coming in and you think, yeah, more please. But it's not a long-term approach if you just accept orders and cannot fulfill your promises to your customers. So it's one thing to keep in mind if you're a seasonal business.
One other thing I just thought about when you were talking about time constraints is that crafts are another one of those things that they take time to produce, and people don't think about that sometimes. I'm wondering how, when you get into this, how you can figure out, how do I ask this question? There are some people I know who have gotten into it and they've said, the amount of work that I have to do for the money I'm getting out of it, how do you figure that sort of thing out if what you have is basically just a hobby because it's going to take too long for the money you're going to get out of it, or whether it is an actual business? Because I think this is a problem a lot of people have in business, not just in crafts, but a lot of people that I talk to, they'll say, well, I'd like to do this or I'd like to do that. And you'll say, yeah, but hey, think about how much time and effort is involved in this, and how much you have to make. You can't spend more time than you're going to make money out of it, or it's not going to be a successful venture. Does that make sense? How do you,
Yeah.
I mean, you must deal with this a lot because you have people providing a product for you.
Yeah, it's a really good point, to be honest. And I think you can look at it in two ways. I think the first way, and the more, I don't know, philosophical way, let's say, of looking at it is, you're in a job right now, you're looking at setting something up on the side. You're probably looking at that because you enjoy doing that, creating those crafts, more than you enjoy sitting at your desk at work. So look at your hourly rate at work, doing something you don't particularly love, you're not passionate about it, and then look at start your side hustle, start your business on a weekend, in the evenings, whenever, and figure out actually how much am I making per hour from this business. You might find that you're making half the hourly rate with your business than your hourly rate at work. But are you happier? Are you enjoying doing this twice as much as you are sitting at a desk at work at a job you hate? I personally would rather do something I love twice as much for half the amount of money than something I absolutely detest for double the money, because money's not everything. So that's a more philosophical way of looking at it. The other way is just, again, look at, you're going to have to run it for a while and figure out actually how long is it taking me per order to produce and how much profit am I making from that order. Then you've got, essentially, you can figure out like a profit per hour almost. If it is something that you're happy with, then there's no issue. But if it's something you're not happy with, then you just need to look at your pricing. Maybe you're undercharging. Look at your competitors. What are they charging? Look at other ways I can add additional options to the product or to the service. Can I add a thank you note? Can I add wrapping? Can I charge more for wrapping because it's going to take me an extra minute to wrap it nicely, but I can charge them an extra $5, $10, $15, whatever. And that makes a huge difference to your profit. So small changes you can make that you perhaps haven't thought about yet.
Well, that's it for another episode of Small Biz in 15. Thanks again to Adam Reed, founder and CEO of Crown & Paw, for making this program possible. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the show, and please leave a comment and let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future programs. For more small business news and tips, join us at smallbiztrends.com.